Hey guys, it's Rich Boy J here, back again with another video, and this is going to be the Vardos mock build series update number 12. I'm sure you guys have noticed that I missed the last week's update. In simple, the reason I missed it was because of one, that day I actually had to repair my mom's computer, and that was like a 2-day affair, so that took quite a bit of time. And then two, I've been working so much on the Corvus lately, and my plan was to just, have the update come out sometime later in the week whenever I felt I got enough progress done. But as I just kept working and working on it, I found myself just feeling like I didn't want to stop. So it got so late in the week where I just figured, okay, I'll just have the update come out the following Sunday, and I think that it'll be definitely well worth it for you guys, just because I got so much done on it. I really think it's a good looking build, and I'm so excited to finish it up so I can actually get it built in physical bricks onto this mock. So for this update, it's not going to be build heavy with physical bricks. I did get one thing done that I'm really excited to show you guys, but in terms of the bulk of the update, it's going to be showing you guys what that Corvus looks like in my LED file right now. So without further ado, guys, let's jump right into the mock. So here's a look at the cargo crate that I was able to get done for Vardos. I think that this is a pretty good design. I'm happy with it. The thing that I actually like the most about it is the fact that these trapezoids are kind of recessed into it. It was a little difficult figuring out how to implement that, but I think I got it, and I think it just adds so much more depth to it as opposed to if that had just been like a flat wall. So really happy with the way this thing came out, and I'm feeling like I'm going to be building quite a few of these that'll be scattered all across this giant landing platform. But let me know what you guys think about this. I actually do have an LED file for it, so if anyone's super interested in this build, I'd be more than happy to distribute that and give you guys an opportunity to build them for yourself and put them in a mock. So just let me know. Another thing that I'm actually happy about with this is that in the game there's like these blue areas on the sides of it, so anything that I can do to add more color to this mock will definitely be appreciated, just so there aren't so many grays and dark grays. So I'm happy about that, and that'll definitely help make the mock look a little bit more colorful and detailed and full and all that good stuff. So for now, that guy's gonna sit right there. I have a bunch more of them to build. I think in the game there's actually a bunch of them kind of lining this area, so I'll have to build a few more there, and then there's of course going to be some scattered about on this side. They'll be below the Corvus. So that's going to really finish up the things that I've built in real bricks. Now we're going to move on to the most important part of the video, the Corvus. All right, guys, here is the Corvus. It's right at around 4,700 pieces right now, and I feel like I say this with every single one of these builds I do. I never really intend on these things having so many parts, but once you just start adding so many details into it, and it's honestly a really big ship, you start just getting more and more parts, and I'm anticipating this thing is going to be about a 6,000 piece build whenever it's finished up. But as you can see, I've completed at least most of this side of the build, which is actually a lot more progress than you'd think, simply because it allows me to basically just copy and mirror it to the other side. So there's actually more progress than you even see that I've gotten done here. Only thing is I'll of course have to change up the paneling on this side whenever I actually mirror that over, just to make it not look completely symmetrical. But all in all, I'm super happy with the way this thing came out. I was honestly getting kind of frustrated with the fact that it was taking me so long to make progress on this thing before. Like, I'd open up this file and I'd try to work on it, but it just wasn't really clicking for me as to where I should really go with the build and how I should incorporate certain things. But once I finally got it, and this is really what happens to me with every single thing I build, I just couldn't stop building. And that also contributed to the fact that I couldn't make an update video for last week. I had said in my mind, okay, I'll just work a little bit more on the Corvus, hopefully, make a good amount of progress and then film the video. But then as I just worked more and more on it, I would end up just having to postpone making the video, which ultimately led up to the video not even coming out at all. So once again, I apologize for that, but I do hope that this beautiful build more than makes up for it. The most difficult thing to design on this was definitely the bottom. You can see that it's really intricate. There's so many weird shapes in it, from these areas that kind of come in, and then this area that's also slanted. And the biggest challenge with the bottom was actually trying to incorporate the engine. So you can see that it's very curved, and it kind of has to fit into the slants on the bottom. So it took me quite a while to figure out how I would design that. But once I finally got it, I was super happy with it, and I think that it flows really well into the big engines on the back. So super happy with the way that came out. And like I said, this is obviously not finished. I'm probably going to go back once I just get all the main structures built up and probably add a few more details. Like I'd probably want to add some greebles into the back here and not just have this part be a flat wall. But you guys definitely can get the gist of it. One of the other more difficult parts about figuring out the design for this thing was that the reference material isn't great. Like, I ended up finding, obviously, pictures from the video game, which ended up being one of my ultimate sources. But then also, there are a few miniature models that were released for, I believe, the, like, X-Wing Miniatures board game, or tabletop game, rather. And those models kind of conflicted with each other a little bit. I think that the video game was maybe a little bit less detailed, which kind of made me think, like, do I want to go for the more detailed miniature model or have it be more true to the video game? So I think I found kind of a mix between there, just because there's certain elements of the video game Corvus that I feel were pretty recognizable, namely these little escape pods along the sides, which don't exist in that in that miniature model, but are definitely very prevalent on the video game. So I had to find a healthy medium between those. And I think the biggest difference between the two is in the video game, the bridge area is actually much bigger in terms of proportion wise to the rest of the ship, as opposed to the miniature model where the bridge doesn't look as big compared to the rest of the ship. And I opted to go with the video game version of the bridge for a couple of reasons. The first one being that this MOC is obviously Vardos from the video game, so I would want like the general shape of the ship to be very close to what you see in the video game. But then also it allowed me to have a lot more space to actually add an interior to the bridge section. So that's something that obviously will be very helpful, and I'll actually be able to stand up minifigures in there and have them looking out through the bridge. So if they were a little bit smaller, it'd be a lot more cramped in there, but my plan is to do a little scene inside of there, so hopefully that will work out. I know the big question a lot of you are going to have is, will there be an interior in here? And my immediate planning for that is no, just because this build is already getting pretty big, and I don't want to spend so much time working on the interior to this ship, which really won't contribute a whole lot to the overall Vardos MOC. So that's certainly something that I might like revisit later on. But in the meantime, I'm just going to have the interior of the bridge, especially since that's really the only like interior place that you see in the ship to begin with. But then also just to save myself a little bit of time and money with designing the overall Vardos build. So hopefully that won't disappoint too many of you. I think that overall, I think the ship will definitely make up for the lack of interior, but that's certainly something that I would look into in the future. Just in the meantime, for the purposes of the Vardos MOC, I'm not going to look into that. Another thing that I wanted to add is that figuring out this wing design was a little bit difficult, just because you can see it's literally only 2 plates thick, which meant that trying to figure out a lot of the details along the side would be very difficult to not increase the overall thickness. So I think like at the thickest one on this wing, it's 3 plates. And I think that it really does fit the form factor of it. Like I was able to incorporate a lot of the details on it without having to like make the wings too thick and still be able to have the girl tiled pattern on there. So I did build a real life prototype of this just to make sure that it was stable, and it worked out pretty well. So I'm happy with that. And I think that these big TIE Interceptor, TIE Striker type wings on this ship are really one of the defining features of it. So having those look good was definitely a big important factor for me, and I really do feel that I accomplished that. If you're wondering what these holes in the bottom of the ship are, so the first one is where a landing gear is going to come out of. I'm honestly not too sure what I'm going to do about the back landing gears. I may just have something attached to these 2 points. I'm not super concerned with making the landing gears look too detailed, just because like the way they function on the actual ship, like it wouldn't really be possible to do in Lego. But that's a story for another day. Either way, That's my plan for the landing gears. But then there's also this other hole right here, which is where the boarding ramp will come out. So the boarding ramp will come through here and slide between these two wings. So that'll be a pretty cool feature of the MOC. Obviously, whenever you arrive to the map, they come down from that boarding ramp. So I think I'll have a lot of fun setting up scenes that look like that. But I really do think that's all I have to talk to you guys about this model. Please let me know what you think about it. Let me know if it was worth the wait, the 2-week wait. Trust me, I've been working on this thing tirelessly, guys. I've been working nonstop trying to get this thing as close to complete as I possibly can. Just because my past experience with building big builds like this is like I can knock them out relatively quickly. This one was one that, like, the design obviously wasn't very straightforward. The entire thing is a triangle, which complicated things a little bit. But I think that I've converged on something that looks pretty freaking good. So, like I said, let me know what you think about it, and also if it was worth the wait. So that's really going to finish up my analysis on this Corvus. Let's go ahead and move to the end of the video. Alright guys, that's going to finish up the video. I really do hope that you enjoyed it. I really also hope that the wait was worth it for the Corvus. Like I said, I had been really just not making the progress that I wanted to make on it. So once I finally figured out what I wanted to do with it, and I actually got into a group with designing it, I just figured, okay, I'll postpone the update, and hopefully it'll be well worth it for you guys. So please let me know what you think about that. And moving forward, I think that this is really going to be the only build hump that I've had to get over. Everything else that I had to design the MOC is not going to be nearly as complicated as the Corvus, so I don't anticipate having to miss any more weeks outside of just factors that I can't control. But like I said, guys, let me know what you think about that Corvus. Next week, I'm definitely going to have way more stuff built. I got a pretty big order in for some parts that I needed, so that's going to contribute to having more of those cargo crates built, more of the barricades built, and more of those walls built right behind this building. So you guys are going to see a lot more progress on the next week's update in terms of real physical bricks, and who knows, maybe I'll even be able to have the Corvus finished and start working on building it in physical bricks. So those are my goals for the next update, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. So like I always say, guys, if you like what I do, go ahead and support this video by smashing the like button, support the channel by smashing that subscribe button, and I'll be back again very soon.